Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I sit out here in the beautiful sunshine near the trees, breathing in God's blessings and mercies. I sit here on the last days of the month of Ramadan, and I want to share with you some reflections on the holy month and how to bid farewell to it, say goodbye to the month of Ramadan in the best way. From what we learn from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and Imam al-Sajjad, the son of Imam al-Hussein. We learn that the month of Ramadan brought for us blessings and mercy and kindness and forgiveness and gifts. We were the hosts and the guests of Allah. We were the guests of Allah and He was the host. We were the ones that He welcomed into His kingdom, and He guided us and He gave us from the food to eat and the guests that we brought to our home, and going to the mosques and reciting the Holy Quran and helping the poor. And He let us be with our families and our loved ones, showing mercy and acceptance and forgiveness amongst one another. He taught us that family ties are so important. He taught us that being kind to the young, to the old, is a way to purify and perfect yourselves. He taught us that He's our Lord and we are His servants, and He brought us towards Him in this month so that we could supplicate, so that we could love Him and ask for His guidance and forgiveness, so we could worship Him and show that He's the exalted Lord and we are the servants. What a blessing. So now, as the holy month of Ramadan comes to an end with only 1 or 2 more days left, our hearts are heavy. Although we might have mixed feelings and we might feel a little bit excited about the ending of the month because the days were long and we fasted and we were thirsty and we were tired, but at the same time, every moment, every breath was worship. Every sleep that we slept was considered for us a form of worship. Every time we had a way that we were able to guide ourselves or our family or our friends, or stay away from doing something that might bring sadness to the heart of our family or friends, and we said, no, it's the month of Ramadan, I'm going to have better akhlaq, better ethics, I'm going to be kinder, more respectful. Every time we did all of that, it increased in our deeds, and it made our Lord look upon us with happiness and pleasure and content. So now, as we come to the end of this holy month with our hearts feeling a bit heavy and sad, because we will be parting with a beautiful friend, a friend that on the day of judgment, when we stand on the day of judgment and we see our actions being presented to us, the narrations teach us that the month of Ramadan will come to us as a beautiful form, and we will be so delighted when we see this, and we will ask, who is this, what is this? And they will say, this is the month of Ramadan, this is the action, this is the fasting that you fasted. And we will be so happy that it will come to us on the day of judgment and reward us and be there for us. So that's something to look forward to. God, in the last day of the month of Ramadan, the last night, He relieves millions of people from the hellfire, and He forgives so many people on the earth. So don't let us forget on the last days to beg and ask Him to forgive and erase all of our mistakes, because when a host invites a guest to his home, he makes sure to take care of him, to be kind to him, to leave him feeling very happy and excited. So as we leave the month of Ramadan being the guests of Allah, we expect the same from Allah. We want Him to be very kind and merciful and answer our dua. And we ask Him and we say to Him, oh Allah, this has been the month of Ramadan. This has been the month of your Ahlul Bayt, the month that you taught us to remember them as well and put them as an intercessors between us and God. So we ask you for their sake, Ya Allah. Let us look at Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam and see what he has said and what he has taught us in Sahih al-Sajjadiyah. He teaches us and he says, and he talks to God and he says, oh God, Amongst the choicest of those duties and the most special of those obligations, you appointed the month of Ramadan. You singled it out from all other months, chosen from all periods and eras, and perfected over all the times of the year, through the Quran and the light that you brought down, and you cast it within us through faith. O Allah, you multiplied our rewards through fasting, and you taught us through obligation and standing in prayer, and you encouraged its time in the night of decree, and you made it better than 1,000 months, referring to the night of power. You preferred us over all communities, Allah, the Muslim community, and through its excellence you've chosen those deeds and the best of creeds, Tawheed. We fasted by the command in the daylight, and we stood up in prayer at night. We presented ourselves by fasting and standing to the mercy in front of you, and we found through it means to your reward. So he continues and he says, this month stood amongst us in a standing place of praise. Then it parted from us, the completion of its time, the end of its term, and the fulfillment of its number. So this is the important point. He says, so we bid farewell to it with the farewell of one whose parting pains us, whose leaving us fills with gloom and loneliness, and to whom we have come to owe a safeguarded claim, and observed. Sorry, those are my neighbors riding their bike, so we gotta wait for a minute until they're quiet. They're having fun. It's the month of Ramadan. They're kids. They're enjoying the serenity and the peace. Alhamdulillah. So he says, peace be upon the greatest month, O festival of his friends. Peace be upon thee, O most noble of accompanying times. O best of months and days and hours. Peace be upon thee, month in which expectations come near and good works are scattered about. So we're actually sending salam. We're saying salamu alayka ya shahrullah. Usually you send peace to other people. God is teaching us, send peace to Shahr Ramadan. Peace be upon the comrade who is great in worth when found, and whose torments through absence when lost. Anticipated friend whose parting gives pain. Peace be upon the familiar who brought comfort and coming, thus making happy, and who left loneliness and going and giving anguish. So really the parting of the month of Ramadan should make us feel a little bit lonely. All the great opportunities are gonna be gone. Peace be upon the neighbor in whom the hearts became tender and sins became few. The shaitan was locked up this month. Peace be upon the helper who aided against Satan's companions, who made easy the path of doing good. And peace be upon thee, how many became freedmen of God within thee. How happy those who observe the respect due to thee. Peace be upon thee, how many the sins you erased, and how many the kind of faults you covered over. Peace be upon you, O month, how drawn out you were for the sinners. And peace be upon you, O month, with which no days compete. And he goes on and and he keeps saying, peace be upon this month. And then he ends and he says, O God, we are the people of this month, and you enabled us and given us success because of your kindness. And he says, O God, to you belongs the praise and admission of evil doing and confession of negligence. And to you belongs the remorse firmly knitted in our hearts and seeking our pardon sincerely uttered by our tongues. We say, God, reward us in spite of the neglect that befell us in this month, with the reward through which we may reach the bounty desired. What is he saying? He's saying, God, we fell short. We weren't able to read Quran as much as we wanted. We were not able to maybe feed so many people or perform a lot of good deeds, all the things that you advised us. We fell short. We just weren't able to do it. So despite of our shortcomings, Ya Allah, reward us and help us and guide us and give us what you want to give us, Ya Allah. So I say to you, may Allah accept your a'mal in this month, and it's been a great month, and alhamdulillah for every opportunity, and inshallah we will see you next year for dua reflections. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and kul aam wa antum bi khair. Inshallah it's a beautiful Eid for you. Assalamu alaikum.